Hello, this is Legina House, and welcome to Gaming Syndrome News. Today, I'm bringing you a special episode on the Kinect, aka Project Natal, Xbox 360's You're the Controller. The Kinect works by motion sensor technology, which is apparently one of the more accurate motion detectors rather, in the world. There have been some hacks developed for Kinect, and I was looking through some of them because I will be a med student next year, and I noticed that they were using a Kinect to perform virtual surgeries in the John Hunter Hospital student wing. You could practice your surgeries using your hands and the Kinect. So I thought, I'm going to read this article, and I had to look through some of the other stuff you do. And there's actually, and these are hacks where they've converted the Kinect into a PC or similar sort of software. They've written their own software for it essentially. Microsoft will be releasing a modding API for the Kinect so you can develop these sort of programs yourself. So I think we can safely say that in the future we will be seeing an amount of Kinect software for personal computers and other business needs. Education was one of the big things they spoke about. Things like in art classes, drawing statues using only your hands. You would wave them around like this, and it would map out the statue, the clay. Seeing your own skeleton. The Kinect works by understanding your muscular and skeletal systems. That's how it can detect when you're doing what you're doing. And they've developed an, in inverted commas, X-ray. And I say that because it's not actually an X-ray. You can't actually see exactly what your bones are. Like you couldn't say, for example, I have a fractured left finger. You couldn't see that on the Kinect. I don't actually have a fractured left finger. But anyway, it would be useful for biology students, anatomy students, PDHPE students. Could be useful for anything. There's music classes. You could have people drawing different shapes on just a bit of paper, and then each shape representing a bit of music. You assigned. Think of it like Guitar Hero with your red, green, blue, orange buttons, and you would assign each shape to a different sound, and then as you're tapping on the bits of paper, it's making the sound that's associated with the square that you're tapping on. It's rather ingenious, actually. The really interesting one that I found was a smaller handheld Kinect, which is a really big modification, can be moved around your house, your room, to develop a 3D map of the room you're in. So, for example, insurance purposes, architectural purposes, planning purposes, things like groundbreaking things like that. You can also have, silly things like playing air guitar. Like, I know it doesn't seem that cool, but, all of us have sat there and, fake strummed a guitar every now and again. And with your Kinect, you could do that, and, even better than that, everyone. You could have Guitar Hero with your Kinect. You could have DJ Hero with your Kinect. All these different functionalities all coming together. Things like you could have there's software where you can actually use your PC using your Kinect. So I could be sitting back over here and using my PC by moving my hands. Modifying games is obviously a fairly a lot of people have modified games. For example, Medal of Honor, where instead of reloading, you flip your controller up and down. Instead of stabbing, you lunge your controller at the TV. Very much like Wii, I suppose, but it's on a much bigger scale because you're not tied down by the remote. And the control, you are the controller, as Xbox say. So it's not a matter of you have to have the remote. All you have to have is the Kinect and yourself, and that's it. You're in. Or there's actually been a modification for games where it's just like a webcam like this, and then it's integrated the Kinect software, and basically you go like this for a little while, and then you throw your hands at the screen, and it does like a big flashing light effect, like Kamehameha from Dragon Ball Z. You can, it's amazing the sort of technology that could come from this. Like, you can think about, you could control robots using your hands instead of being tied down by a remote. There's an incredible number of things that you could do using the Kinect platform as a base. If you can think it, you could probably, make it work. If you needed to move your hands, you can, I mean, practicing your sports. Obviously, there's already Kinect sports, but all the other things you could possibly do. I was just flabbergasted by the fact that you could perform surgery using a Kinect. Think about the ramifications of that. Eventually, it could get to the stage where you no longer have to get gloved up and scrubbed and actually go in and physically perform the surgery. You can have all your instruments around your person, and all you're doing is just moving your hands, and the instruments are being controlled by your hands. At the moment, it's very early prototyping. Only thing they've managed to do is give a couple of virtual stitches, and I think it was a virtual hip replacement they managed to do using their Kinect. But the fact that they could do that in itself is incredible. You know, the art, are you making artworks, making digital. Imagine using Photoshop with your hands as the brush. It'd be the ultimate form of a tablet, finely tweaking each individual layer. I just found it absolutely amazing that there could be so much. Like, I originally thought, Kinect, God, that's a bit of a child's thing, or a bit of a war on the Wii, with things like Kinect Animals, and I thought, I sort of thought it more filled the void between child gamers, then you've got your teenage gamers who are, racing games and whatever, and your older gamers who look at the Wii as, a method to get fit or whatever, that now have the option of having the Kinect, which competes with, and I personally think surpasses, the Wii system. And, it still has all the, there's not really very many games for the teenage game on Kinect, with the exception of maybe, say, Kinect Boxing, Kinect, you know, sports or whatever. But having this sort of technology would truly make the Kinect available to everybody. It would be useful to everybody. I couldn't. I count the number of time. I could count the number of times, where I've thought, man, I really wish that I could just sit way over there and just use my computer. But I couldn't hit my keyboard. I couldn't use. I have a laptop, so I can't just take my keyboard over there. And it's just the technology that Microsoft has is what's the incredible thing. Another thing that I was recently reading is that Kinect has signed, sorry, not Kinect, Microsoft have signed up with the headset makers Triton to produce new headsets for the Xbox, basically the new official Xbox headsets. There is a couple of different models of them. They're all very, they're proper headsets. There's surround sound, stereo. They both incorporate game sound and chat volume, which is very interesting. The three models will be the Devastator, which is stereo, the Warhead, which will be surround sound, and the Detonator, which will be the wired headset. They'll be using Dolby, obviously, for simulated or non-simulated surround sound. The base station also, which is, you plug your base station into your Xbox, like, as a lot of people who have headsets know. This will also allow you to plug it into your iPod, your PC, basically your TV, or just by itself, anything that you can, smartphone. So you can use it as a Bluetooth headset, or not a Bluetooth headset really, but your, because it's not really Bluetooth, but a wired headset sort of thing. They're be powered by USB for the wired, obviously. The stereo will be using AA batteries, and the Warhead, which is the surround sound, will be using a rechargeable battery pack system. They seem. I'm looking at some. I will post a link to the source in the description. They seem to be very ergonomic. Um, their padding, their Triton was also the people who make. I don't know if anyone knew this, but the safety earmuffs for gun ranges that a lot of people wear are Triton. They're sort of pentagonal in design. Um, Ear cups. It's got isolating around the ear cups, streamlined headband padding. It's all your volume controls are just right there next to you. They connect straight up to the 360 either. You no longer need a talkback cable to plug into your controller, which would essentially mean that it would eliminate a lot of the issues with play and charge kits or wired controllers and mics, because often when wired controllers are charging, you have some feedback in your mic. They'll be somewhere between $250 and $300, which is, I know, a lot, but it is comparable to a lot of other headsets on the market, and they do provide a lot of extra features that a lot of those other headsets don't have. I'll put a description to that in the article. I'll try and find my Kinect source because I just did some jotted notes for that. I think it was from the official Xbox magazine, so I don't know if that's online yet. If it is, I'll just Google it later. And anyway, I just thought I'd do a quick news update for Gaming Syndrome. This is Leginahas. I hope you enjoyed the video and stay tuned for more gaming news.